So the good news is that most of my kids can fill out a bell curve. Let's see here. The mean is 44 inches. Remember, we add 2 3 times and we take it away 3 times. There's the big man right there. All right. If you go one left and one right, together you're 68% of the graph, but individually 34%. You go two left and two right, all together you're 95. 95 take away 68, so what, 27? 27 cut in half is 13.5. If you go out 3 standard deviations, you're 99.7. 99.7 take away 95 is 4.7. 4.7 cut in half is 2.35. And the tails are the 0.3% that remains. So if you split that into 2 individual pieces, you get 0.15%. To be the big man on campus, you got to be 3 standard deviations above average. So once, twice, thrice. You got to be greater than 50 inches. That is the minimum height you can be, is 50 inches tall. What percent of MSU students are less than 3'4"? 3'4", bruh, is 3 times 12, add 4, which is 40 inches tall. That's going to be those 2% right there. If you pick them, add them together, you get 2.5%. Now, switching over to the calculator for part 4, Bob stands an incredible 4 foot 1 inch. That means that he is 49 inches tall. 4 times 12, add 1, kids, is 49. He is 49 inches tall. Now, when you talk about using a calculator here, percentile rank, this is Bob at 49 inches. You want to know who he's better than. So you're doing a normal CDF. The lower boundary is -5/9. The upper boundary is Bob's height, and the mean and standard deviation are given in the text, 44 and 2. So that's under second vars, normal CDF, -5/9, 49, 44, and 2. And it's going to return 0.9938. That's how I asked you to round it, remember? All right. Mary is only 3 foot 1 inches tall, 37 inches tall. How many standard deviations will average if you for an MSU student? Your z-score formula is x minus x bar sitting pretty over sigma. So she is 37 inches. You're supposed to take away the mean of 44 and divide it by the standard deviation of 2. 37 minus 44 has been 7. It is -7. -7 over 2 is -3.5. And the bonus, what heights constitute the middle 40% of the heights at MSU? Let's see here. I've got to use a different calculator for this. I have to use the CMU app to do it. Sure. All right. Where's my keypad at? There it is. So we're going to second vars. We're going down to inverse norm. It's the middle 40.4. Mean of the text, I think that was 44 inches with a standard deviation of 2. That's sigma. And it's a center. And there we go. So between 42.95 and 45.05. That's the middle 40. All right, some stuff that was on the answer document, and then I'll get to the rest of these in a minute. Find 8p5 by hand. This is a permutation. NPR is going to be n factorial over n minus r, all factorial. So we have 8 factorial. 8 minus 5 is 3 factorial. 8 factorial is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And again, 8 minus 5 is 3, so it's 3 times 2 times 1. Then you had to figure out what this stuff was, you know. It should be 6,720, but let's check my brain today. 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2, and then the one's understood there. Something's wrong there. because that ain't right. That's way too big. Where have I messed up at? Boy, when I'm special, aren't I? Why did I do times 3 times 2 times 1? I'd canceled all that stuff away. You can tell I'm ready to leave. 6720. Shouldn't have used a calculator. Should have just gone with it. My gut says that I should do it. All right. Formula for NCR was given to you, by the way. You had the formulas. I don't know what the problem was. It's n factorial over n minus r factorial followed by r factorial again. So we're going to have a 7 factorial up top. This guy is 7 minus 3, right, which is 4 factorial. And then we have the 3 factorial because the r repeats. So that's 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. She's sitting pretty over 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 3 times 2 times 1. All right, gone. 3 times 2 is 6, so 6 is gone. 7 times 5 is 35. All right, moving on to the test. Jimbo and Tammy enter a raffle. First prize is a lifetime supply of Marlboro Reds. Second is a lifetime supply of Red Bull Energy drinks, whatever that is. What's the probability that Jimbo and Tammy both win a prize if there are 80 people in the raffle? So the deal is it could be Tammy followed by Billy or Jimbo, or, which means add, Jimbo wins and then Tammy wins. So the probability of Tammy getting first is 180. I take it as pulled. Now it's 179. And the probably, or, because or means add, we do the same thing again. And then we go push Putin's on a TI-84. Now it's the same fraction written twice, so you could just add, multiply it by 2. I'm going to do the shortcut here and just double it. Math, enter. 1 in 3,160 chance of happening. 3 you had to omit, but that doesn't mean it's not a valid question. I fix it here. 70% is 7 in 10. Your formula for the probability of R successes is NCR times the probability to the R times 1 minus P to the R. All right, so 2 out of 6. This would be 6, choose 2. The probability is 7/10. It gets raised to the R, which is the second power. A 1 minus 7/10, boys and girls, surprise, surprise, is 3/10. And that exponent is n minus r. Well, 6 minus 2 is the fourth power. This is the correct answer. I didn't fix it on this yet, but it's fixed. But anyway, it's too late. All right, number 4, the probability of a particular student falling asleep during 5th period is 65%. During 1 week of school, 5 class periods, what is the probability they do not fall asleep? That is an exact number. You're allowed to do this with binom PDF, the binomial probability distribution formula. Anyways, they do not fall asleep. Now, the way this works is it goes NPX. So we have 5 trials. The probability of falling asleep is 65%. And I want to know what the probability that they don't fall asleep is, which is 0. So I'm going to go to my TI-84 and I'm going to do binom PDF, which is under second vars, binom PDF. There are 5 trials because there are 5 class periods in a week. If the kid makes it to class 5 times, that is. With attendance is probably out of 4, to be quite honest with you. And then we hit enter, and we get 0.0053. All right, I got 3 minutes till teacher bell. The probability that Jacoda has lost his homework is 65%. The probability that Jacoda has lost his homework and needs to go to the bathroom is 35%. What is the probability that Jacoda needs to go to the bathroom given he's lost his homework? So the probability of, let's see here, bathroom given we lost the homework would be the probability of bathroom and homework sitting pretty over the probability of losing his homework. Now the probability he's lost his homework and needs to go to the bathroom is 35%. The probability he lost his homework is 65%. So I just type in 35 over 65 and I look for the equivalent percentage and I get roughly 54. See it right there, 0.5384, 53.85. Determine if the events are independent, overlapping, conditional, or none. So you're supposed to look at your formula sheet. Your formula sheet says under independent that the probability of A times the probability of B is supposed to equal the probability of A and B. And by golly, gee wow, guess what 0.4 times 0.6 is? I don't know why kids struggle with this so much. You're like the same kid who can't do area of a circle if I gave you the diameter. It's 0.24, independent. All right. Now, you also have your overlapping formulas. The probability of A or B should be equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B, take away the probability of both, if they're overlapping. So we do 0.31 plus 0.95. We take away the and, 0.37, and we hope that it equals this guy. So that was 0.95 plus 0.31. Most kids I saw do this, they just guessed. Like, you're too lazy to even push buttons in a TI-84. It's really sad. And you got 0.89 and they match, so hence overlapping. All right, 7. Suppose 24% of all people can do math. We've got a math circle here. 67% can do English. We've got an English circle. And 20% can do both. So this is 20. Now the math circle is 24%, that leaves 4. The English circle is 67, that leaves 47. The question was math and English only. And 4 plus 47 is 51, and that's where I stop for this part. I'll finish the rest in the morning.